Former U.S. President Donald Trump has been indicted yet again, this time for his alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 elections in the U.S. state of Georgia. 77-year-old Donald Trump has been charged with 13 felony counts, and the latest charges in Georgia may carry particular peril for the former president. These include racketeering, which is a law used to target members of organizations engaged in illegal activity like mobs. The other felony counts include making false statements, filing false documents, and several conspiracy charges. A total of 19 people, including Donald Trump himself, have been charged in the Georgia case. The indictment also named a number of Trump allies, including his personal lawyer and his White House chief of staff. Trump has slammed the charges and called them rigged. Ahead of the indictment, a document appeared on the court's website which indicated that Trump had already been charged. It listed the 13 charges against the former president. However, the document was quickly removed from the site. Trump described them as leaked charges against him. He said that it had already been decided how the case will end even before the grand jury testimony culminated. He has urged supporters to donate to his campaign. Meanwhile, the court's clerk described the potential leak as being fictitious and said that no charges were announced against the former president at that time. Trump and his allies are accused of illegally seeking to overturn the state's 2020 election results. This marks his fourth indictment in less than 5 months. Trump already pleaded not guilty this month to 4 federal charges linked to 2020 election interference allegations and his role in the January 6th riots. Trump also faces state charges in New York over hush money payments, as well as federal charges linked to his mishandling of classified government documents. He has pleaded not guilty in both these cases either. However, these latest charges could present the most serious threat to Donald Trump's liberty as a 2024 presidential candidate, as they would strip Donald Trump his power in Georgia that presidents arguably enjoy in the federal system, and that is to pardon themselves or have prosecutors drop cases. Okay, for more on this, we are being joined by political analyst John Christopher Bua from Washington, D.C. John, welcome back to WION. It seems that these charges carry a lot more weight than the other ones just because of the fact that perhaps he's not going to be able to pardon himself should he take over the White House in 2024 and other legal challenges as well. Can you talk about that for us, please?
Very well, very well. Your lead-in was perfect, Susan, as always. And let me just divert for a second and congratulate all of my WION friends on the Independence Day of India. I wish we were talking more about that joyous day instead of what's going on in this country. But you remember Ben Franklin, one of our founders, who said, America is a republic if you can keep it. And it's been a tough time the last few years, keeping it just the way we would like it to be. But it takes diligence, as you know.
Absolutely. And you know, I also want to talk about this leak that Reuters actually shared. For a very brief time, there were these charges that went on the court's website. The clerk immediately said that it was fabricated. But nonetheless, that did happen. And the court hasn't provided any information on whether or not they were hacked or not. What do you make of that incident?
It's possibly an error. I don't have firsthand knowledge of this, Susan, I'm sorry to say. But, you know, it's all coming out. And you made a good point. These RICO charges, this Racketeering, Influence, and Corruption Organization Act. Can you imagine? This is something that comes out of the Al Capone days. And it was Rudy Giuliani, who was the former president's lawyer, who's being charged. And he used that RICO law when going after the original Teflon Don, John Gotti. So you'll know this is all really New York mob stuff. This is Godfather on steroids. And mobster number one, Donald J. Trump, who I've known for all my life, he lived very close to me in Queens, New York, is coming to this is it. You know, the curtain is coming down on Donald Trump, and along with 18 other cronies of his, including Giuliani, Mark Meadows, his White House chief of staff, John Eastman, Sidney Powell. You just line them up, and this Fani Willis is very, very, very smart and powerful woman. She will not take fools gladly, and she will make sure that she does her job to the full extent of the law. And everyone is innocent until proven guilty, but she's on her march right now, and it's more than the march to the sea. It's the march to the jailhouse for Donald and his associates, his cronies, his acolytes, or I would say his disciples.
Okay, well, we'll be watching very closely, as I know you will as well. John Christopher Bua from Washington, D.C., thank you so much for joining us.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.